Reggie Thomas working real hard out front. Tucker Johnson, another iconic racer, and Dina Ketch coming up right behind in second and third place. Those are three names that are very, very common you see on these race circuits with e-skates. We also have Jacob Laura making their way across the start-finish line, a Phoenix rider, and it's his third race on his Stooge race board out there. A lot of Stooge race boards. Shout out to Mo and those gear drives just singing on that track today. Looks like Dina is still right behind Tucker Johnson, I believe it is. Tucker is very skilled, very, very good with his lines. You'll notice that in the front. He's not making many imperfections. He's holding his ground, exactly what Dina is kind of expecting out of this racer, but she's finding a little bit of room on that throttle. She says she's not giving up. She's not giving up one bit as she makes a pass on that last backside. Coming into the corner, can she hold it? And Tucker, is he going to let her have it? Who knows? Coming across the line, Reggie Thomas. EUC Heat 2 riders to the staging area now, please. We got Dina Ketch coming along the line in second place with a Tucker Johnson coming around in third place. Saying one more time, we need the EUC second heat to the starting line, please. Jacob Laura coming across the line there. Number 49 on that TEF1 jersey. Really cool to see those TEF1 jerseys out there shining away.
Reggie Thomas with a lap time of 1 minute 30 seconds, followed by Dina Couture with a lap time of 1 minute 34 seconds.
We're following Tucker Johnson here, that iconic hair of that man, making his way around the track. And we're going to see who's going to be finishing up this race in first, second, and third place.
Checker flag is out.
Reggie Thomas making light work of that first place. This man has been around, not wasting any time when it comes to Electrify Expo and other races. And another racer, again, not wasting any time. Dina Ketch over for second place over that line. And in third place, we got Tucker Johnson sealing out third place for that e-skate heat. Seth, I would have to say that it's been a pretty good and interesting race, this e-skate race. And kind of sad to see them go, because I heard we got some EUCs coming up next, which are also super thrilling to see. But watching these e-skates finish, you got to soak it in a little bit. I love my e-skates. There you go, crossing the line.
That's right, Brett. We're moving from e-skate into the EUC Pro Heats next. Temperature is dropping out here, as well as the sun.
Yeah, and what almost dropped right there was the rider. And you notice there was a little speed wobble after they finished over the checkered line. That's one thing we haven't really seen today. Cross our fingers, knock on wood, everything's going great.
Thank you all for joining us here from TEF1 at K1 Race Circuit. I'm your host, Seth Johnson, joined by the illustrious Brett Brownlee. We are happy to be bringing you the race commentary live from Amped Electric Games, the voice of electric sports.
Yeah, I've been waiting for this event for a long time, and I'm super happy that it's here. It's popping off, and all these racers are just making light work of this track. We were saying earlier today we couldn't wait for these racers to hit this track, and they're hitting me right in that spot that I like to be hit. You know, it just feels good when they go by, and you hear them. So I'm learning to love that more and more as we sit here at this desk.
It is thrilling to be out here, just seeing the power, the control, the athleticism on display with some of the fastest e-riders in the world putting it on. This is an elite class. This is an elite race. Like you mentioned before, we don't have an amateur class, a novice class. These are the fastest racers in the world.
I think that's one thing that TEF1 is really bringing to the whole scene here is providing a true professional experience. We want these elite, the fast, the best of the best. This is their first event in the United States, but who's to say when they're doing their events more in the future in 2025, we're going to find some of the best are going to want to come out to TEF1.
2025, 2026, and into the future. Keep an eye on TEF1. Make sure you hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell, and let there be light. We just have the track lights just came on, so we'll be bringing you a clear view into the night here.
What are we saying, spectators? Spectators, are we enjoying this experience today or what? Big shout out to the K1 circuit and their beautiful facility throwing on the lights for us. It's about to get interesting. I tell you, this track, it is beautiful. They're making the building behind us still. It's not even finished yet. This track is just incredible. I hope I get a chance to potentially even put my foot on it.
And the EUC Pro Racers are rolling onto the course. The I believe we're going to have 7 racers in this next heat. We have not seen that before. 7 racers coming up.
After 23.
And racers? Wow. Let's get the blimp.
The view on that start line is incredible. We got 10 racers lined up on that line. We're going to let you know exactly who they are, but I know we've got a couple iconic riders out there as they're getting ready. One of them is Scott sitting up front. We got some other racers. Douglas Marshall's out there. I hear the crack of the green, and off they go.
Wow.
We got Scott sitting out front. We got a couple racers, an Alien Rides jersey right behind them. We're going to figure out who's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. But look, we got Zach Darnell in that 4th position.
That's a good pass.
And I believe we got Clegg in the 5th position. That pack of 4 up front making their way. Oh, we got a little bit of water from Scott. He keeps it under. Scott keeps it under control. Keeps it under control and holds that 1st position, but he's really making the pack beneath him really bulk up. He's not letting them go by. It looks like we had a bit of a change of position. We did. We've got the Alien Rides rider out front there.
I believe that might be Kevin Zavala.
It looks like Kevin Zavala. It probably very well is. We got Zach Darnell making a pass on the inside right before the hairpin to take that 3rd position.
Whoa!
We got a slide out from Scott in that corner. He seems to be okay. He's going to be getting his wheel back on.
We had a little slide out there, but it looks like the rider is okay and back up.
That's what we were talking about with these temperatures going down
Yep.
and these skill levels going up into these finals. They have to be really careful. They're pushing those boundaries a little bit harder, but you could be slipping out on that track, so you have to be careful.
Yep. That's what he said.
100%. These racers are going down that track, putting their head down, probably listening for those beeps. This race looks to be like one of those races. They'll be listening for beeps.
Was that Zach out front?
Zach Darnell making it out front for the first lap coming around.
Kevin?
Zavala in the second position. Looks like an E-Rides jersey in the third position. That could be B-Rye. It could be another rider as well. Wow, we got some speeds coming in here. 54 miles an hour. That's right on par with what we've been seeing today. These EUC riders are no joke, and they're pushing hard throughout this track.
Shout out to Willie Brady, our radar man, for providing us those live times from the radar gun. Radar gun. Oops. Said radar gun.
I bet you these racers appreciated those lights coming on. It's not really getting dark, but it really is giving them a chance to see every last piece of that corner. They're going to want it. These racers are getting faster, and a little more aggressive to find those positions that they want.
Zach Darnell put in a lap time of 1 minute 31 seconds on that last lap. Zach Darnell with a healthy lead out in front in this second heat for EUC Pro Class.
Yeah, he's got his arms going out there, and anytime he's making his corner, he's very methodical in how he does it. So keep an eye on the leader way out in front there. He's making those corners. There's probably a reason why he's out front.
Yeah,
and a lot of how these racers ride is in their upper body and their arms.
Yeah, we've got Kevin Zavala in second place, followed by Brian Dillard in third place, Team E-Wheels. That's Richard Salcedo that you see back there. He is often found on dirt trails, so he's a little out of his element, but he's not showing it out here on this racetrack, hitting these top speeds with these other pro class riders.
Yeah, he's getting his hand down there. Maybe even some of these EUC riders, we've been noticing them wearing pucks on their hands like e-skaters more and more and more. So notice those style in their arms and how they're twisting around, and they stick that arm down. They're looking to touch the ground too. It just really helps them rip through that corner.
And John Fernandez just came through the start-finish line trying to make up some time. I think he may have had a little spin out there. And I see the race coordinator with a checkered flag out as Zach Darnell comes around the last corner
We got
and up this home stretch.
crossing the finish line, Zach Darnell taking the first place position in the EUC heat. We're looking at the next riders coming in, and in second position,
Kevin Zavala.
Kevin Zavala.
Followed by Brian Dillard, Darius Arias, Douglas Marshall, and Richard Salcedo.
Show Scott making his way back on his wheel. Probably not the happiest of a man right now, but man, he was fighting hard out there and finished the race. That's all that matters. You got to go out there and finish that race. Yeah, it's great to see this sportsmanship. You see it a lot with the EUCs because they can get a lot closer to one another when they ride. And you notice as they finish the race here, they're all chatting with one another. The camaraderie is what all of this is really about. Maybe they're talking about how the race went. And as we all know here, the top 6 advance on. So maybe they're chatting about, moving on. All these racers here enjoying the experience by the looks of it, Seth.
Yep. The 6 racers that will be advancing include Zach Darnell, Kevin Zavala, Brian Dillard, Darius Arias, Douglas Marshall, and Richard Salcedo. Thank you so much for joining us here at the TEF1 races from the K1 circuit in Winchester, California.
We're getting ready for some more EUC races here. We got a bunch of racers making their way out of the staging area and up to the line. And we've got the SoCal legend race coordinator chatting them through how everything's going to work, lining them up exactly where they need to be. And then eventually we're going to see and hear the crack of a flag.
You know, amped. For this next race, we have Mario Chacon, Maxwell Berger, Zen Lee, Aaron Doria. $15. 78. And they're off. Here we go. Their second EUC Pro Heat with Maxwell Berger out in front.
That is absolutely no surprise, but we do have a pass and somebody taking him way out to take the lead there. For those at home, you can see it on their screen. These EUCs are really tight-knit as they make their way through those first few corners, and Maxwell Berger way out in front so far.
We'd like to see the EUC women. Please head to the staging area. EUC women, head to the staging area for the next race.
It looks like we've had a couple of position changes, a couple of jerseys in different positions, so we will have to figure out exactly who is in that first place position. They're making their way around. They're hitting that last hairpin to come down that long stretch eventually. So that's when we'll get a chance to see them come around that start-finish line as they're packing up in the back right now, Seth.
I have never seen a race like this, Brett. This is incredible to see this many racers on a course of this caliber. Is a very exciting and record-breaking place to be. Those of you that are at home and are fortunate to be watching this, you are watching history being made here from the TEF1 races at K1 Circuit.
Absolutely. I feel like we're finally starting to branch out into our element here and really feel out what we really want for these races. And this K1 Circuit is giving a lot of what we want. All right, we got Mario Chacon coming up front there, and I believe an E-Rides racer right next behind them. In third place, we got Zen Lee.
EUC women, please head to the staging area. EUC women, for the next race, please head to the staging area. We are running out of daylight, and we want to get these races completed, so please head on down to the staging area.
All right, now a little bit surprising, but not. I believe we saw Mario Chacon out there in first place and all these EUC riders, which is a little bit different.
And I've just been told that Maxwell Berger is on a spare wheel. He's not even riding on his own wheel, and he is out here dominating in this EUC Pro Class race.
You see him there on your screen. Maybe he's not as comfortable. Maybe that's why he's not up front like he normally would be.
EUC women's class, please head to the staging area now for the next race. E-skate finalists, also please make your way to the staging area.
We got some of the racers coming around to the start-finish line now. Mario Chacon's still up front in that first position. Zen Lee in second position.
Yep.
I believe it's an E-Wheels rider, Doria. Aaron Doria coming in third place there behind there. They got one more lap to go.
Maybe. Be up there. Oh, and Mario is probably way out there.
It looks like on our screen for those viewing the broadcast at home, we got Mario Chacon up front and a little bit of a pack in second, third, fourth place.
Couple E-Wheels riders back there.
Yeah, trying to find their place, trying to reach all the way up to where Mario Chacon is, or they're just fighting to figure out who will get that second place position. I believe we got Zen Lee in second place there.
We have a pass. We got a pass.
But the E-Wheels riders
the home stretch,
working together, maybe not wasting a second.
Mario Chacon, Zen Lee, Roger Hajali, and Aaron Doria.
What a very good race between those people, that lead pack keeping themselves together and more of a grouping. Really, really cool to see that. And Maxwell Berger out there on a master, I believe, not his regular wheels. So maybe that's why we didn't see Maxwell Berger way up there in front.
So one thing we haven't talked about is, we've got Mario Chacon. He just raced. And he's heading into the E-skate finals as well.
Yeah. So we have those dual-faceted riders, and luckily we have the women's category in between his heat here and moving on with his E-skate race. So some of these racers, they're busy today. They're definitely busy today, trying to figure out exactly where they need to be at what time. But TEF1 is doing a great job with the organization of this event, making it somewhat easy for them. So shout out to TEF1.
Thank you so much for joining us here at the TEF1 races, coming at you live from the K1 circuit. I am Seth Johnson, joined by Brett Brownlee. And Amped Electric Games is proud to be bringing you this commentary live. Amped Electric Games, the voice of electric sports. We are gearing up for our next race, folks. EUC Women or E-skate finals coming up. One or the other, we are going to see some epic battles.
All E-skate pro, make your way, if you're part of the finals, towards the staging area. We're trying to finish up the day here, so if you know that you're in the finals, stay in that area, make yourself present, and we'll be off to the races.
Off to the races. Pun intended. That's some of that Canadian humor there.
Hey.
It's such a pleasure to be announcing here from TEF1. Such an exciting, we can't stress enough how this is like first of a kind type of an event at a world-class track like this. It's just so epic. And you at home, you're watching history being made as we are bringing the EUC women out onto the track for the next race. EUC women heading out onto the track for the next race.
It's really great to see these women lining up. We're getting more and more categories. Even in the summer series and off-road stuff, we're seeing Groms and children. So super happy to see these women have their full category here to race down for first, second, and third place. We will let you know exactly who that is. We got SoCal legend lining everyone up and getting everyone ready, and we're going to hear the crack of a green flag soon.
Maribel Vargas is definitely in this grouping, and she is one to watch. Celeste Cuna also was in second place from the previous heat. She is also one to watch, but you have to wonder, with the speeds that these racers are going and the number of laps they're doing, there may be some fatigue going on. So is anybody's race out here? We've got Maribel Vargas, Celeste Cuna, who we previously mentioned, as well as Christina Clark, Danielle Okezi, Shira Sheps, Christina Morales, Grace Garlow, Estelita Lieja, and Lisa Lum. The racers are staged. Final race for EUC women. This is for all the marbles, as they say, Brett.
Yes, everything is on the line here. SoCal Legends getting them lined up for the EUC Women's Final Race. The EUC Women's Final Race. I'd like to hear the audience put your hands together for these women working hard on that track today. That's what we love to hear from everyone as they make their way across that start finish. Make sure you're showing them the love. This is a final race, and off they go with that green flag.
Maribel Vargas out in front with a jump off the line. She had that pole position.
Yes, leaning real hard, knowing this is a final race. They're not going to be holding back anything anymore, right, Seth? And those heats before, it may have been strategy, but now it is skill.
Escape Pro riders, please head to the staging area. Escape Pro riders, head to the staging area as we are watching history being made, or should I say herstory, here at K1 Circuit Track in Winchester, California.
Exactly. These women, they provide an exciting race for us, and it's super happy to be able to see them go around this track so fast in a group and be able to watch them go across that finish line is going to be quite exciting here. I don't know if it's actually going to be a runaway winner or not. Escape Pros, make your way to the staging area, please. Escape Pro, make your way to the staging area. Thank you. Got Maribel Vargas coming around the corner real fast, coming around that start-finish line. Completing the first lap is Maribel Vargas. I believe on second place.
Maribel Vargas and Celeste Cuna, first and second place, followed by Christina Clark. EUC Pro riders, please head to the staging area for your next race. EUC Pro riders.
Coming across the line now, it looks like we've got Toronto's Shira Sheps.
As well as Danielle Okezi.
Passing.
And
Danielle.
Grace Garlow.
Yeah, Danielle passing right after that start-finish line, making some work out of that track. We got Grace coming up behind and Estelita on that EUC here on this track at the K1 Circuit.
So this is a technique that we've seen a little bit before, that sitting down position to make yourself a little bit more aerodynamic. You're a little bit more stable as well as you're bending your knees and getting down closer to the ground, getting out of the wind. So we may see some more of that in these finals as these racers also maybe getting a little fatigued, and it doesn't hurt to take a little bit of load off.
100%. It's something we're noticing more and more. It was shamed a little while ago to kind of sit down and race, but now people are finding the stability with these faster machines and braking at these breakneck speeds is just, you need to sit down on that wheel sometimes and be able to harness that side-to-side motion that can sneak up on you. Some fast racers making their way around that last corner, coming out to the start-finish line. It looks like we got Maribel Vargas coming across, completing her second lap. And Celeste, hot on her heels.
Maribel Vargas, Team Alien Ride. She rides out of the Bay Area. She's heavily involved in Intro to Speed. You see her out there quite often. Maribel Vargas in first place, followed by Celeste Cuna. And in third place, Christina Clark, Team Clark Racing.
Yeah, Maribel Vargas does a great job with their local community, really helping a lot of racers get into racing. And you definitely want someone as experienced as Maribel Vargas in that first place to be able to go out on a weekday and just be like, hey, can you show me how to race? She's had several podiums over a few years of racing. No stranger to any of this. We're super happy to have her here at this event and at home in her community up in the San Francisco area.
Podiums like AVS 2023, Amped Electric Games 2022. She is a contender. You can follow her on BayMV_ on Instagram.
It looks like Celeste is trying to make a little bit of a move behind her, getting a little bit close. I don't know if she knows that Celeste is so close to her behind her, but she's pushing away and saying, no, maybe I do hear you there.
Shout out to our drone operations team for providing you with these amazing shots coming down the straightaway for this pro women's EUC class. We may see is there going to be a pass?
We got a checkered flag coming out at the end of the line.
And it's going to be close. Maribel Vargas, followed by Celeste Cuna.
What an incredible race between those two. Just neck and neck making it through those last corners. We didn't think Celeste would be getting close, and she said, just wait, I'm coming.
Celeste Cuna races out of San Diego. She rides and races all over the world. Celestial_impact on Instagram.
Third place coming along across the line, Team Clark Racing, Christina Clark.
Christina Clark for third place. Those are your winners, folks, for the women's EUC Pro class. Maribel Vargas, Celeste Cuna, and Christina Clark. Give them a big round of applause. Coming out here and putting it all out, put it on the line here at TEF1, the inaugural race for TEF1 in the United States.
Yes, as these women are getting ready to finish their race here, make sure you give them a hand as they come around that home stretch. Put your hands together for some of these racers coming to that start-finish line. We have some of the pro EUC heats coming up after this. And some e-skate is, I believe, next.
Once again, we want to thank our live stream sponsor, Lazy Rolling. Head on over to lazyrolling.com and get armored.
Hey, I'm just saying, if you want to stay warm too, they do a not bad job with those jackets. Coming across the line here, I believe we got Estelita finishing up her race.
Final call for e-skate racers, Mario, Jack, Reggie, Rux, Dina, Geelong, Tucker, Brandon, and Andy. Please head on down to the staging area for the e-skate pro final. Thank you for joining us here from TEF1 at K1 Circuit Track in Winchester, California. I am your host, Seth Johnson, along with my one and only illustrious co-host, Brett Brownlee, sporting his Lazy Rolling jacket. Amped Electric Games is happy to be bringing you this live commentary. Amped Electric Games, the voice of electric sports. And we are heading into the e-skate pro class race We have Mario Chacon, Jack Farah, Reggie Thomas, Ruck Smith, Dina Couture.
Geelong Dontat. We got Tucker Johnson, Brandon Stevens, and Andy Zhang. A lot of these names are names that you've seen again and again and again. And to see them on this track, we've seen so far, this track has proven to us that it's worth spectating for sure. So this is going to be a fun race to spectate as well.
Yes, absolutely. I am thrilled to be bringing you these race action. Oh, we have an EUC Pro class as well. Thank you so much. So we will be bringing you this eSkate Pro Final, and following that will be the EUC Pro Final. And sad to say, that will conclude our broadcast. But hey, we are going to be with you for one more race. So make sure you grab something cold to drink, something crunchy to eat, and sit on back for these most exciting races of the day, the Pro Finals.
All right, I got you. And I believe I hear a green flag, and off they go for the eSkate Pro. It looks like we got Reggie Thomas in that third position, Mario Chacon in the second position, and some gaps are forming there, but not big ones at all. If you're looking at the screen here at home, these racers, they're fighting, and they're fighting for some grand prizes, aren't they?
That's right. They are fighting for $1,500 in cash for first place, $1,000 in cash for second place, and $500 in cash for third place.
And those are in freedom dollars, aren't they? Those are U.S. dollars, aren't they?
That's right. U.S. dollars. You can buy all the freedom fries you want with those freedom dollars.
Absolutely. Now, these eSkate racers here are pushing hard for those positions. Sure, they want the money. A lot of it is bragging rights. You want those bragging rights.
And you may notice it's starting to get a little dark, a little dim here, and it's because the sun is going down here in California. We're trying to bring you the finals of these races from TEF1 at K1 Circuit Track in Winchester, California.
Yeah, it looks as though there was a rider down the track getting back on their feet. It happens. This is the eSkate Pro Final. If there was a time to push to the absolute limit, this would be the one. They're making their way around the track. It looks like some of that lead pack is going to be making their way around to the start-finish area.
It is tough to see with this lighting.
Mario
You got a
Chacon.
rider down in the corner.
Two riders down in the corner with Mario Chacon making his way over that start-finish line to come out around in first place.
And like we were saying, this temperature changes is definitely playing some havoc, wreaking some havoc with these boards out here and these riders.
Absolutely. They got 4 contact patches on the ground, and that is 3 more than an EUC would have. So if one of those slips out, the other 3 could slip out on you. When it gets chilly out here, that's the first thing to go on you. And when that sun started coming down, I bet you that was a big thing that people were worried about.
Rux is out. Rux is out of the.
Oh, we got another racer down right now again.
They
Pushing,
are.
absolutely pushing these limits, these devices. This is exactly what we expected out of this pro race for these racers. Of course, we want them to stay on the track, but they gotta push right to the end. We're seeing some yellow flags out here on the track, so.
Yellow caution flag is on the track.
So for those at home who don't know, cautionary flags, yellow is only in that specific region. Please take caution. And if a red flag was thrown, that is an absolute stop on the track, which we have not seen and hope not to. Looks like we have some racers coming around the stretch here in front of our spectators and racers coming around the start-finish line.
That's Mario Chacon, 1 minute 31 seconds, followed by Reggie Thomas.
And those two right there, if you're to put a couple of Americans side by side, and if you're going to put them,
And Dina Couture.
that's the way it would be. You'd find Mario up there, you'd find Reggie Thomas, you'd find Dina. Jack Farrell working real hard in that 4th position. Tucker Johnson's 6th position, trying to push his way up again.
I can't help but think that maybe fatigue may be involved as well. You know, these racers, some of them racing in both classes, Mario Chacon, for instance, But he doesn't seem to be letting that stop him as he's out here pushing in first place.
Absolutely. He's showing his endurance. He's showing what it means to show up to those Intro to Speed nights every single week. And it really proves itself here. You're right, though. These e-skates take that little bit extra energy. You don't have that machine between your legs. It's not like you can sit down like we were talking about with those EUC races. They're strictly on their legs, and they are pushing hard against those G-forces in the corners.
And remember, folks, whoever comes in first is going to go home $1,500 richer. And let's hear it from the crowd as Mario Chacon comes down the home stretch into the corner.
And I see a checkered flag. Everyone put your hands together. We got the E-Skate Pro finalists coming in with one Mario Chacon.
Following Mario close by is Reggie Thomas, $1,000 richer.
And in third place, we got Jack Farah.
That was an epic race, Brett. I was on the edge of my seat. I told you I was going to only use the edge of my seat tonight.
Spectators, put your hands together. We got fourth and fifth coming across the line. Tucker Johnson in that fifth position there. So great to see these e-skates come through and finish up this final.
Huge shout out to TEF1 for securing this venue at K1 Circuit Track, to Lazy Rolling for sponsoring this live stream. We are just so thrilled to bring you these races as we have our final rider, Brandon Stevens, come across the track. We have next our EUC Pro class.
Yes, very much a highlighted event.
EUC Pro racers, please head on down to the staging area. EUC Pro riders, one of you is going to be $1,500 richer. So head on down for your chance.
Yep. And just another reminder to anybody out there, if you borrowed a helmet from K1 Circuit itself and your helmet is not yours, bring it to the DRT tent. Please bring your K1 Circuit helmet that is not yours if you have one to the DRT racing tent. Thank you.
Speaking of DRT racing, we want to give a big shout out to Alex for providing the live stream, the logistics, the timing out here at the K1 Circuit Track. Huge thanks to Alex and his whole team for working tirelessly for making this live stream happen. We appreciate you, Alex, so much.
EUC Pros, you must be in the staging area now. If you are part of the EUC Pros, make sure you are in the staging area.
Oh my God, this is crazy, Brett. This is it's all coming down to this final race.
Yes, it is.
If you are finished racing for the day, thank you so much for coming out to TEF1. Please remember to return your transponder to Alex over at the DRT Racing Tent and give him a high five and thank him for the hard work that he's done, as well as if you see Meyer or Abby or anybody from the TEF1 crew, thank them for putting on this race and giving us all a chance to race on this world-class track at K1 Circuit.
Am I wrong in saying this may be one of our last races today?
This is the last race of the day.
So I just want to say, shout out to TEF1 for staying on schedule and on time. One of the hardest things to do when running an event. Big shout out to those people. So we are going to get these riders ready to go here, and we have the roster for you. So we have Zach Darnell, Mario Chacon, Kevin Zavala, Zen Lee, Brian Dillard, Roger Hajali, Darius Arias, Aaron Doria, Gialong Tontat, Douglas Marshall, Sam Clegg,
This 5-lap final.
and Brandon Stevens.
That's 6 miles. These riders are going to be racing 5 laps 5 miles they will be racing in this EUC Pro Final.
So it was definitely important before this heat that they actually may have plugged in to ensure, because they're not just going around the corner here. This is 5 1.1 mile laps on this crazy K1 circuit here in Winchester, California.
Unprecedented PEV racing. Let these riders hear it, folks. Let them put your hands together for this EUC Pro race as we have the final riders heading out on the track.
We got SoCal legend doing his absolute mastery work. Everyone put your hands together for our race coordinator working hard today, getting these EUC Pro racers ready to go. Let's hear some noise from the crowd. Come on, people, give it up for Joe. All right. I know, Seth, you said you were on the edge of your seat. I'm literally on my feet. All right, this is the exciting moment, the moment we've been waiting for. We got SoCal legend off the track, and we're waiting. Green flag, and off they go for the EUC Pro races at TEF1.
Into the Rocky Moran corner and down the stretch as they head into that banked turn and downhill towards those downhill S's.
Yes, this track, we've come accustomed to it.
Oh, we got
And we have a rider that slightly went off, back on the wheel, and is probably ready to go again. This happens in these pro races.
Yes.
It's starting to get intense as they're finishing up the first half of their first lap.
Yeah, that's right. I'm not sure if there was contact there or what it was, but we did have a rider spin out. But you never know. It's never over in PEV racing. Get back on that wheel and head back into the pack.
Yeah, we got a couple of gaps here. We got a first and second place, a little bit of a gap. And third and fourth place, they are battling for third place hard. Yeah, first and second ahead.
This is an epic final race as they're heading into that straightaway. Oh, we've got a racer that's sliding out as he's, is that Zach? I believe we have Zach Darnell in first, heading up the straightaway, followed by Kevin Zavala, Zach Darnell, Kevin Zavala, Brian Dillard, Darius Arias, Douglas Marshall, and Roger Ajali. That's 2 racers we've seen off the track so far in this final race.
But remember, folks, it is not over. This is the main show. That was only 1 lap. We have 5 laps in total to finish up this EUC final. So you don't know who could be in first now. They could be in last later, or the person in last can come up in first. Anything could happen on this track as that temperature's going down. They're losing a bit of that traction. They're getting exhausted from the day. This is why we came out here to the K1 circuit for TEF1.
Second and third place are battling Brian Dillard and Kevin Zavala. We've got Team Alien Rides and Team E-Wheels just battling it out there, trying to get second place. Zach Darnell is way out ahead.
Yeah, it seems that there was a little bit of an active race so far. A little squiggly here, squiggly there, making a bit of gaps. And we got a little bit of a challenging second and third place, back and forth, back and forth. And it looks as though we may still have Zach Darnell up in front. Everyone put your hands together. He's coming across the line here for a second lap. The second lap out of 5. Zach Darnell over the line.
We've got another racer sliding out. Zach Darnell has been putting on a clinic out here today throughout the qualifications as well as this final. Zach Darnell, typically found on dirt racing,
but not always, man. This guy is making his way back into the absolute podium positions in EUC racing. And He makes sure he takes a lot of time into training and making sure his body is strong enough to be out there in front like he is right now, holding that first position.
That's right. Zach Darnell, he won Let It Ride this last year, Let It Ride in Las Vegas. And there he is. There is Zach Darnell out in front. And you can see the gap there. He's got quite a gap. Beautiful flying by our drone pilots. By the way, our drone pilots, something.fpv, post toast, as well as casualty FPV.
Yeah, just a beautiful view as we had the Zach Darnell in first place and back to that fight between the second and third place, which is proving to be one of the more exciting things to watch at the moment. It's nice to see Zach Darnell out front there with this battle for second, third, fourth, and fifth even.
Looks like Roger's actually threatening third place there.
Rogers making a name for himself once again, back on that track.
And here we have Zach Darnell for his third lap out in front.
Starting off that fourth.
Followed by Kevin Zavala, Brian Dillard, Roger Jolly, and Darius Arias. Douglas Marshall not too far behind. Bringing up the rear is Jialong Tongthat, Sam Clegg, and Richard Salcedo. Zen Lee, I believe he was one of the ones that slipped out earlier.
Yeah, I did notice he had a little hiccup there before. I don't see Zen Lee out there now. There he is as he's making his way across the start-finish line.
He's putting down some fast lap time, so even after spinning out a little bit, he is trying to catch up and make up time. I think that experience he has from racing over in Spain for so many races is really proving true now.
It's a big part of this is sportsmanship. Even if you do go down, you get back on your wheel and you finish that race. And it's a very normal thing in the PEV racing scene. You got to make sure that you just get back on there, you have some integrity, and you finish up that race. And that's exactly what Zen Lee is doing right now.
There's a lot of battling going on out there, Brett.
Yeah, we're seeing some exchange of positions. We're getting close on those pedals. It's everything we wanted when we were talking earlier. In the qualifiers and in the heats, they had some gaps. I don't see many gaps here. This is very fun and thrilling to watch. As they come around that back corner, we're going to see these people who have been fighting it out on the track in front of our spectators here. Zach Darnell's coming around front.
Kevin Zavala, Darius Arias, Brian Dillard, and Roger Hajali.
We do have some changing positions. We got a Knight Rider, Darius, moving up one position, looking for one of those grand prizes out there.
I believe this is the final lap. That was 4. So we've got Zach Darnell's got to hold on to it. He does have a healthy lead, but you cannot get complacent in PEV racing.
Absolutely. Absolutely anything can happen in these races, and we've seen it happen before, and it will happen again. We're on our final lap here, I believe. We're going to see a checkered flag coming out. And we're fighting for that second and third position still.
Right. Kevin Zavala in second place, but he has a Team Ewell rider hot on his heels. Are we seeing a move here?
Oh, it could be on the inside. He still could have it with a nice line. They're battling back and forth, but the exit is where he's going to get his speed, potentially find him. All right, they're making their way. I see a checkered flag getting ready at that start-finish line, and I expect to most likely see Mr. Zach Darnell coming around that first corner. All right, coming around that last corner now, hitting the home stretch. We got the one and only Team EV's Zach Darnell.
Yeah, Zach Darnell.
Oh, we are going to have to look at that final there.
Got a rider down.
Yes, we have some tight finals here. We're going to have to look at those timing, those chips. We have to confirm that racers are okay. Yeah, I think it may have been.
Or Brian. That is the checkered flag, folks. That was such a close finish. We have to go actually to the replay here, and so we can bring you the final standings.
And that's why we love DRT Racing. Shout out to these folks. They've been at several events for us in the PEV scene this year, and we need their system even to come and figure out these final results for the EUC Pro.
1/100.
It looks as though we may need a hand on the track afterwards if we have a track official after the start-finish line.
We are going to be bringing you the results forthcoming. That was a photo finish.
That's what the TEF1.
Zach Darnell out in front, $1,500 richer. Roger Jolly went down right after the checkered flag. He is up and looks to be okay.
Now, somebody was asking me earlier, did these devices break? Unfortunately, when they do go down, you might hear a little ting-ting-a-ling of a broken part, and it does happen. Not to say that we don't crash, but these professional racers weren't crashing a lot today. They were staying on their feet and making sure they were given the best racing experience possible for our spectators and our racers on the track. So we're just tabulating some of our final results here. I want to make sure we get you the most accurate results possible for our first, second, and third place.
Yep.
Darnell first. Paula should be second.
We are tabulating the results here as we are checking with our race operations for the second and third place winner, but we definitely had Zach Darnell putting on a show.
As you called it, a clinic.
Yes.
Absolutely. It was great to see Team EV's rider from, EV's is from Vancouver, where TEF1 is from. And I believe we have some final results.
This is the final result, yeah?
All right. We have seen some final results coming in here. We do have some E-Skate Pro final results. All right. You saw it on the track, everyone. But the E-Skate Pro final results: in first place, Mario Chacon. In second place, Reggie Thomas. In third place, Jack Farrow. In order, filling out the rest of the heat: Geelong Dontat, Tucker Johnson, Andy Zhang, Brandon Stevens, Dina Ketch, and Ruck Smith. Thank you so much for being a part of that E-Skate Pro Final. Congratulations to Mario, Reggie, and Jack.
All winners head down to the podiums for the award ceremony at the end of the garages. I believe we had Zach Darnell out in front, followed by Kevin DeZavala, and third, Roger Hajali.
Yeah, it was really, really close for that third place. We're going to have to go to results and see exactly, but it looked as though Roger may have came across that line first, and then afterwards there was a little bit of a hubbub, and a wheel did go down.
Yeah, that was crazy. Well, maybe he could use that $500 to pay for parts for his wheel.
Absolutely, and that's why it's great that TEF1 is doing that.
Yes. This has been an incredible day. We have had some incredible races. We want to thank you for showing up and watching and supporting TEF1, as well as Amped Electric Games, the live commentators. My host, Brett Brownlee, thank you so much. It has been an honor to broadcast with you once again.
It's been an honor to be a part of this, quite honestly and truthfully. Amped Electric Games and their commentating and broadcasting power over the past few years, that's something I'm more than grateful to be a part of. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you to K1 Circuit and their beautiful venue. Put your hands together, everyone, for TEF1. TEF1.
Yes.
Working hard. It's really hard. We both run events, Seth, you and me, and we all know how incredibly hard it is to put on a full-on production like this. Hands together for TEF1, big time. That's a lot of work put together for this.
And let's not forget our live broadcast sponsor, Lazy Rolling. Thank you so much, Lazy Rolling. Make sure you head on over to lazyrolling.com and get armored. We also have a few folks we'd like to thank on the crew here. We want to thank Alex from DRT Racing, as well as his team, as well as Big Boy Fast Boy.
This
Nick
man is the
Gasmena,
reason why Amped is what it is on the level that it is.
our
Nick is
director.
the man, is the director extraordinaire, calling out all the shots.
Also, a shout out to Wheelie Brady, Chris Brady, for providing our radar on track, as well as Live for EUC, and our drone pilots, Casualty FPV, something.fpv, and Post Toast. Thank you so much. Thank you to everybody out there for watching. It has been a pleasure to bring you these races for TEF1, and we can't wait until the next time we meet for PEV Racing. Thanks again.